Simply by definition of priority, the word priorities doesn't really exist, does it? It's the improper use of that word. In fact, it was always priority until the 20th century, when somehow priority became just demoted to meaning something generally important. So it's the one thing. It's about lining up your dominoes. You know, Gary outlined in the book the exercise of goal setting to the now. Goal setting to the now means, well, let's visualize what this is going to look like 10 years down the road. Let's create a mission and a vision, values, beliefs, perspective around that target. And then let's start working it all the way backward, meaning in 10 years it's going to look like this. So what's the one thing I could do in the next 5 years? Meaning I don't have the ability nor the wherewithal, maybe not even the skill set or mindset to do that thing in 5 years. Yet when I line it all up, I will eventually be that big, right? So what's the one thing I can do in the next 5 years that makes the someday goal easier? And then ratchet it back. What's the one thing I can do in the next 3 years? Such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary as it relates to the 5-year goal. And it makes the someday goal easier. And what's one thing I can do in the next year? What's one thing I can do in the next 6 months? What's one thing I can do in the next month, the next week, the next day, finally today, and eventually right now? What's one thing I can do right now that when I do that, everything else will be easier or unnecessary as it relates to the daily goal, the weekly goal, the monthly goal, the 6 months goal, the 1 year goal, the 3 year goal, the 5 year goal, and it makes the someday goal easier.